Hey, what's up guys? Grow more stressless here. I'm getting ready my second pheno hunt and I'm pre-charging my cocoa. I'm buffering my cocoa for my next run. I feel that buffering your cocoa is very important for the success of your grow. So I'm here to show you how I buffer my cocoa with calcium and magnesium and exactly the whole process. For this run, I will use the Dutch planting cocoa bricks, cocoa pots, and I got the version on the fabric pots and on the plastic bags. We'll try both this run and see if I see any difference. I break a small piece of this brick right here and I put it on this glass, and I got here some arrow water and I'm trying to see the EC that I'm starting with before I buffer my cocoa. So as you can see, the EC it's 0.07 and the pH is 7.09 pH. So would write this down right here. And after we pour some water and we let it expand 20 minutes or so with the cocoa inside, and we'll see what value we get. So the way I do it, it's by using either CalMag, it's from Botanicare. It's a calcium and magnesium supplement, as you can see. It's nitrogen 2%, calcium 3.2%, and magnesium 1.2%, and some iron. The way I do it those days is because I'm using Athena Proline. I like to start directly with the Athena Proline, and I'm using the coir. So it's nitrogen 14% and calcium 17%. The few other trace minerals like boron, copper, iron, manganese, zinc, but very small trace amount. The most is calcium and nitrogen. I got here my calcium. I need to add my magnesium into the mix, and I'm using this Epsom salt from my grow store. It's magnesium sulfate, magnesium 9.5%, and some sulfur 12%. So for every 2.5 grams of calcium of coir, calcium nitrate, I'm using 1 gram of magnesium sulfate, and I'll mix this with my arrow water until I reach 1.5 EC to 2 EC, even higher than that. And 1.5 to 2, it's a very conservative number because last time I pre-charged my cocoa with coir, I used 3 EC and my plants freaking love it. After I transplant them into the medium, I water them with nutrient solution, balanced nutrient solution, and few days later they explode from all that calcium into the medium. So I feel that's the most underestimated step and most overlooked step of the grow that most beginners do. They don't pre-charge their cocoa, even if they say it's buffered or pre-wash. Whatever they say, buffer it one more time. Do it yourself. Buffer it. You don't have nothing to lose. Just win. Do that and tell me the difference between the plant's growth that you have. So I got here the coir, and I got here 35 gallons of water and 150 grams of coir, and I turn on my aero mixer, and I will put the coir and let it mix it up. Right here I got my magnesium sulfate and I got 50 grams. So 150 of coir and 50 grams of magnesium sulfate. And I'll put this into the mix as well. And I'll let it stir up by the aero mixer. Meanwhile, I grab my Hanna grow line PAGC TDS meter and I throw it into the mix, and we're gonna measure the pH and the EC of the mix. So I got here my calcium and magnesium. I got it at 2.6 EC and 5.86. So I like my pH between 5.7 and 5.8. Like I said, I like my EC high to charge my cocoa. Now it's time to measure the amount of salt into the cocoa that we have into the cocoa. Now we're gonna put some water from this mix into the glass. So we basically got the wash from this cocoa, and we'll measure EC and the pH of the wash, and let's watch. Let's see. So the medium is at 0.78 and the pH is at 6.3 pH. So 0.76, 0.76 and pH 6.25. So that's what it is, guys. We start with RO water 0.07 EC and we end up at 0.75 EC into the cocoa. They wash the cocoa with fresh water, and let me tell you, 0.74, it's a good number to start with. But what we're gonna do now, we'll double buffer with calcium and magnesium. So the way I do it personally, it's hand feeding the pots, because I'm not using drippers for any of my pheno hunts, because it's not making any sense to me to use drippers, because whenever you pheno hunt, you can get a pheno that will stretch 3, 4, 5 feet, and you can get another pheno that will only stretch a feet. You cannot water the same a plant that is 4 feet or a plant that's 1 foot, right? That's why I think hand watering while you pheno hunt, it's almost mandatory. So that's what I'm doing. Because I don't have a drip system, I hand expand my cocoa pot. It's a lot easier with the drippers. You just put 2 drippers on each side. If you have 1 gallon, you can use 2 drippers. If you have like a 2, 3, 4 gallons, whatever, you need to use more drippers. And now let me show you why you can waste some water with whenever you do it manually. At the beginning, oops, too much. You see, before the pots get some water, you'll get a lot of unwanted runoff. Let's try another one. See, we go as slow as possible, but we still get some runoff. With the drippers, because they drip so slow, you'll not have that runoff at the beginning, so you don't waste as much water as with the hand expanding your cocoa. Now I got 2 drippers to show you an example. So that's how you want to place your dripper, one in one side, one in other side, and you will save some nutrients and water, because the only time you'll get runoff with the drippers it's after your medium, it's fully saturated with water. So it's a more economic and easier way to expand your cocoa. Right now, the cocoa it's 80 to 90% already expanded, and the cocoa now acts more like a sponge, and it's not repelling the water as much as when it was dry. So we can go a little faster, and you can use faster pace. And the advantage of using this method is that by using this jet of water, you give a rinse of the cocoa as well, compared with the drippers that you cannot really give them a rinse of the extra salts from the medium. 20 minutes, another 20 minutes later, and we are almost done. I have one more step to do that I like to take before I transplant. So I'm using great white, but you can use any beneficial microbes. You know I'm a fan of microbes into cocoa, and I will sprinkle a teaspoon of great white on top of my medium. And I will get my my hose, and I'll give one more wash of the top so we can push those microbes deep into the pot. Now the pot, we'll let the pot sit for 8 hours, 8 to 10 hours. We'll come back tomorrow and we'll go to the step number 2, which is transplanting and watering your plants with balanced mix of nutrients. Until then, guys, go check out my website, growmoreextreme.com. I got the Dutch planting 1 gallon in fabric or plastic bags. I got the 2 gallons, and I'm working on adding the 1.5 gallon. I use Dodge planting on my last run, the 2 gallons, and I love it. I really recommend those pots. Amazing aeration, amazing cocoa, aged cocoa. Check out my website for the best prices on the internet on Dodge planting pots. Grow more, stress less, guys. Peace.